All right. Invalidity of notice of federal tax lien. And this is another one. I don't know why every lawyer in the world isn't upset about this. Notice of federal tax lien. From what I studied in the law is that a notice of something isn't a something. If you do a notice of motion to quash a subpoena, you're just noticing people that you are applying to have something done. A notice of deficiency or a notice of federal tax lien, does that actually mean that a federal tax lien is being done? Well, it's a notice of a federal tax lien. All right. Isn't there some process that should go with that? In this contention, a notice of a federal tax lien is invalid because it's unsigned or not signed by the Secretary of Treasury, or because it was filed by someone without delegated authority. Well, I would say a notice of a federal tax lien, if it's not a federal tax lien, it's just a notice of one. Where's the federal tax lien? But anyway, again, it still goes back to what I've been harping on. Contention, the form or content of a notice of federal tax lien is controlled by or subject to a state or local law, or notice of federal tax lien does not comply in form or content with a state or local law is invalid. You know what you need to be asking yourself too, if they do these kinds of things and you've all the way along contended that you weren't liable, weren't subject to it, you need to be asking yourself, where is your constitutional trial by jury on any matter of any legal debt? Can they file a lien pre-judgment? People do that, but I'd still want to know if there's any actual taking of my property, that where's a court order that authorizes that. This is the disputed debt. The 7th Amendment to the Constitution gives us a right of trial by jury on disputes of $20 or more. Invalidity of collection due process notice. A collection due process notice letter is invalid because it's not signed by the Secretary or his delegate. I would never argue any of that. If I don't owe it, I don't owe it. I don't care about who signed what. A collection due process notice is invalid because no certificate of assessment is attached. Again, of course, I'd like to see, if they're going to say I owe a tax, I want to see the code section. I'd like to see the assessment. If somebody filed a substitute return, I'd want to see that. I'd like to know what their authority to do that was. Contention. Verification requires the production of certain documents. Invalidity of statutory notice and demand. No notice and demand as required by 60 was ever received by the taxpayer. Notice they use the word taxpayer again. Means you're subject to or liable for the tax. Contention. A notice and demand is invalid because it's not signed. It is not on the correct form, such as Form 17. And of course, they go into the reasons on this. And like I said, this would be a very long course. Tax court authority, challenges to the authority of IRS employees, use of unauthorized representatives, no authorization under Internal Revenue Code 7401 to bring action. So we've just covered the table of contents. Again, there's much more in there, but to hammer home a point, are you a taxpayer? Which means, I don't mean you pay property taxes or sales taxes, because that word is, that term is TAX, new word, PAYER. The term taxpayer in the Internal Revenue Code is one word term. It's defined in 7701, 1313, and basically is someone who's subject to or liable for an Internal Revenue Code tax. Are you that? And if so, how and where did that happen? Where in the code have you been made subject to or liable for that tax? Now, are we telling you not to keep turning over to your master the fruits of your labor? No, not telling you that at all. But you know what? I am telling you, ask them. Just ask them. Ask for simple, honest answers. That's all for now. We'll pick this up later.